Welcome to I'm Doing Well. This is my podcast. Everything is chaos. I'm I'm not dramatic, but you want to know what I just did? I actually let me set the tone. It is 6:12 a.m. on Sunday. Yeah, I know. It hasn't gotten much better, okay? This thing I keep doing. I just recorded the second episode. Episode sounds very official, but I'm going to call it that because it is very official. I just finished recording the second episode of the UC Davis show, and yeah, it's 6:12 a.m. on Sunday. Oh my God. Everything's worse. So I'll tell you all about it. Episode 1 did great. It got almost 1,000 views in the first week. The Chancellor saw it. The social media team saw it. Everyone, liked it, apparently, which is dope. But it's the same thing I've been talking about on my podcast, where it's like now there's expectations. And so when I recorded that first UC Davis show, I think the video is just over 4 minutes. If I remember correctly, it's 4 minutes and 31 seconds. Or maybe that's how it displays on YouTube, so maybe it's 4 minutes and 30 seconds, because YouTube displays things as 1 second longer for some reason. That 4.5 minute video took me 21 minutes to record, just for context. I just finished recording episode 2. It took me 71 minutes to record that thing. Oh, that's why, I'm dressed like this. I decided, let's roll up the sleeves. I get things ready to record that. And then I just, put them away and then take them right back out again to record the podcast. But I was like, hey, you know what? It's Sunday night, Saturday night, Sunday morning, the light's up. I cleaned my glasses, the mic is plugged in, the computer's ready, everything's ready. I'm not going to feel motivated to record this podcast later today, Let's just do this, okay? So here we are. The thing is that episode 1 did so well. I mean, relatively. Like, for me, it did really well. That I got so nervous recording episode 2 because I was like, oh, everyone's gonna come back for episode 2 and they're gonna be like, okay, let's see it be better. But that's the thing, the format is the exact same. There's jokes and it's hard, to one up what you did last time. So it's like, I have to be realistic though. I think probably one of the reasons it took so long is because it wasn't because I was nervous. That was part of it. But the first, I think 1, 2, or 3 lines, or like all of them, those bits, I guess, like the chunks, the joke, I guess, yeah. The first like 2 or 3 of the jokes were really long and I just kept messing up on them. And I kept overthinking what my mouth does, what my eyes do. I didn't know where my hair was. I didn't know if it was like, seeping in here like that. Man, I think I came in hot. I think, I said everything's chaos at the beginning of this, episode. It's not. Everything's cool. That's the thing. I don't actually, like in real life, because this is not real life. There's such little I overreact to the point where I apologize to people. I'm like, I'm sorry I didn't react better. Like, that's why I get scared, when people show me something cool, because I get really anxious that I'm not going to give a good enough reaction and then it'll ruin it for them. And it's a thing they like so much. I don't want, my lukewarm response to just ruin it for them. I shouldn't have that power that I can just be away in response and then ruin a thing that makes someone happy. That's too much power. That's madness, if you ask me. But speaking of madness, 2 things. I this tie, it's humongous, right? The knot, very big. But this is the first time I've ever tied a knot. So give it up. Give it up for your boy. I've never tied a knot. Sorry. It's the first time I've ever tied a tie. I've never tied a tie before, but everyone in my house is asleep right now because they're normal human beings. Debatable. So I was like, I have to, I picked this purple fit and I found this tie. So I was like, gotta do it myself. And so I watched a 5.5-minute tutorial. It has like 76 million views, I think. And yeah, I came out with this. Let me actually stand up. See it? Look at that. You see it? And then I got the Star Wars jammies on. I don't know if anyone paused the UC Davis show when I the parts where I show my whole body. Like when I'm sitting in the chair. It's at the beginning and the end. But yeah, no, I'm wearing like Star Wars pajamas. And I think it's really funny. It's like a little Easter egg for people that give a shit. No, those aren't people that, I don't know what I'm talking about. That's the thing, like, in real life, I don't give big reactions. I don't hold grudges. I mean, I remember pretty much everything, but like, I never hold anything against anyone because I don't care. People are so imperfect. Why am I going to hold something against someone? That's ridiculous. Anyways, first insane thing, tied my own tie. Second insane thing, the UC Davis show. So, you know what it is, right? The premise of it, Ashir, shout out to Ashir, by the way, is, oh my God, I got to give shout outs to more people. Everyone, I was like, no one responds in Discord. Claudia always comes through with the cowboy hat, reaction. That's one of my favorite emojis. So thank you, Claudia. That's dope. There we go. So the UC Davis show is every Thursday. The Chancellor of UC Davis and his wife, they do a little series where they just answer some questions that people send in. The whole point of it is really just to give updates to the student body or anyone that cares about UC Davis. Give them updates on like how things are going amidst COVID, amidst the world. And what they do to try to make them seem more human is in the beginning, they'll have them answer personal questions. And I've only tuned into they do this every Thursday since quarantine started. And I've only watched now 3 of them. I watched one last quarter, and then I watched the first one this quarter and the second one this quarter because I had to write an entire episode of my show, about them. And I hate calling a stupid YouTube video they got 1,000 views a show, but it is. So we're going to call it that. It's my fully produced show. I dress up for it, I trim my beard for it. So much happens. I only do that, 2 times to impress someone or record a video. So it's very impressive, company. That's not what I meant to say. I think you got the point. But what they do is, I went on a tangent. I'm sorry. What they do is they want the Chancellor and his wife to seem more human. I'm on, I don't know if you know this, I'm on UC Davis's official social media team. It's called Stratcom, Strategic Communications. And I'm in a group called Stream, which we're the line we always tell people. Now it's ingrained in my brain. It just rolls off the tongue. We're Stream, UC Davis's newest student social media team. See, I didn't even think about saying that. It just came out. But that's what we are. We're UC Davis's newest student social media team. And the idea behind it was, I don't know if you know what a street team is. That's where the name came from. A street team is when news or media or whoever gets on the street and they get that firsthand perspective. And so That's what we originally were called, Street Team. And then the six of us, there's 6 students, we came up with the name Stream. We took Street and Team and we shoved them together. But I know we're the creative minds of UC Davis. But the thing I really like is our like motto or slogan, Stream. We're always in the current. Get it? Because water. I don't know if this is more on the side of a bad episode or a good episode yet. But we're, about 10 minutes in. So we're doing great. We're getting it done and over with. Okay. This podcast was just supposed to be about me posting something once a week. So, it keeps me going. It gets me productive and it's working. It's really working. It's a little hectic at times because school, is the way it is, but it's working. It's working. Or that's what I'm going to keep telling myself. But yeah. Anyways, I'm going to cut to the chase. You know what the video is because anyone that listens to this bullshit for sure watches my videos. So Gary May, the Chancellor, saw it and he posted it on his personal Facebook page. I thought it was fake at first. But then Alex Fisher-Wagner, my friend, sent it to me. He was like, oh yeah, my manager shared this with me. Alex was actually how I first saw it. Like other people had sent it to me, but Alex sent it to me first because finger on the pulse, that guy, I tell you what. But he was like, yeah, my manager sent this to me. And then the team I work for social media, they sent it in our Slack channel. And Slack is basically just a scuffed Discord. So I saw it through there. And then on Facebook, I got tagged in it, and so I was seeing it. That was cool. But I have this, like some people ask, I feel this goes exactly into what I was talking about earlier. I don't have reactions to things. And along that same line, like I don't have this cool thing of like, if someone has like notoriety or like, we'll just go blanket statement, famous people. I've never had that like thing in my head where like, it'd be a thrill to meet them. Like it doesn't matter to me. I've said it'd be cool to get dinner with a couple people. And like the 2 people, I don't know, I might need to revise my list, but the 2 people I wanted that would be cool to have dinner with and just talk to is Mark Hamill, Luke, and JG Quintel, the creator of Regular Show. Those are really the only, like, I guess, famous people that I'd be like, oh, it'd be cool to do dinner. But even then, I wouldn't, like, freak out if I saw them. And so I felt bad because people asked me, like, oh my God, the Chancellor saw your thing. And I was like, yeah, but I didn't say this, but I'm like, yeah, but he's a guy, He happens to be our Chancellor, but I mean, he's just an adult. I'm forever grateful for him, like, shouting me out. And I think it is so cool that the Chancellor of my college, knows who I am because of some jokes I made. But I think the reaction people were looking for, I don't know if I have the, tools necessary in me to provide that reaction, That's the thing. I realize how cool it is. It is cool, but like I didn't go like, oh my God. Holy shit. Okay, so yes, this is definitely one of the worst podcast, levels, right? Also, during that whole thing, I probably peaked super hard. I don't know if you know this. Sometimes if I breathe heavy into the mic or I laugh too hard or whatever, the audio peaks and it would blow your ears out. I go in and edit all that. I reduce the levels because, I mean, the people that do watch, I don't want to punish you for watching. So, yeah. And then that's why, I had the graphics just for context. So when I make, a Transformer dick joke, it makes sense. But yeah, that's super cool. The Chancellor knows who I am, but that also, I guess, probably subconsciously made me really nervous to record episode 2. Because I'm like, like, what if a joke doesn't hit? He'd be like, what is this guy talking about? You know? Also, the phrase that gets thrown around so much, and I'm going to do something with it one day. I know I'm going to. There's a phrase that gets thrown around UC Davis's social media all the time, and it's, "This is who we are." This is copy and pasted all over UC Davis's social media. And the Chancellor doesn't run his Twitter account, obviously. So he uses it. I follow him. He uses it so much. And every time he uses it, I screenshot it. And I have it saved in my camera roll, all the instances of when he said, "This is who we are." Last time I checked, and this is like 6 to 8 months ago, last time I checked, but he had I think it was right around 80 tweets that said this. I know it's crazy, but when he shared my video on his Facebook, he put a little message of his own right above it and said, "This is who we are?" ? And I was like, oh, wait, Gary, what does that mean? There's this phenomenon in adults, people over the age of 30, or maybe it's when you have a kid. I don't know what it is, but they don't use punctuation correctly. Adults never use ellipses correctly. Adults use ellipses, and it guaranteed always scares the shit out of me, because okay, I'll text my mom, "Hey, is it cool, can I I'm gonna get McDonald's, do you want anything?" And then she'll respond, "No thanks, ... Whoa, what did it did I say something bad? What? No thanks. It's like, am I forgetting to do something? Do we have food at home? Am I being an asshole right now by asking you? And then I'll ask her about it, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know." Why did you put it? That's a scary. It's so ominous. It's so scary. When I was making the Christmas music video, I talked to Alex Fisher Wagner about this, and he was like, "I know exactly what you're talking about." He went and retrieved an old email from his high school. This super nice teacher, she sent an email, 15 plus ellipses. Every sentence separated by an ellipses. What? What are you doing? What are you? That is scarier than a haunted house. It is, because a haunted house, it's definite that there's going to be a jump scare. An ellipses is purely mysterious. It's fucking terrifying. You don't know what it means. Like a jump scare, you're like, they're trying to spook me. This is purely spooks, for spook's sake. And a fucking these 3 dots, man. Oh, that's the scariest shit ever. So he put a question mark, which is punctuation. And I'm like, what does this mean? Is he saying, "This is who we are"? Is this really who we are? Is this what Davis has to offer? It's like, I don't know, Gary. Or he's genuinely curious. He's like, "Oh, is this who we are? Does this kid go to Davis?" Or he's asking the room. He's like, "This who we are? Is this who we are, guys? What do you guys think?" I don't know. I genuinely don't know. What do you guys think? Trying to get a vibe check. What's going on here? So yeah, that's super dope. Chancellor knows who I am. I had a lecture on Monday, school. I'm doing that thing. And a teacher said he started his lecture by saying, "Happy week 2, everyone." And I thought that was kind of like a oxymoron, you know? It's kind of like jumbo shrimp, you know? It's completely, you can't say happy and then week 2. They're contradictory things. I thought that was funny. Anyways, let's talk about Instagram, because I'm an IG baddie myself, as in I'm bad at using it. Right after, this is terrible. So you know what I talked about in the last podcast, right? Like, there's certain people that you're mutuals with on Instagram that you're not friends with. It was just by circumstance that, you guys follow each other, but you probably couldn't say one thing about them that isn't their name. Well, I posted that podcast, and I think within the hour I posted it, I got unfollowed by someone I went to middle school and high school with. But the shitty part is, I also mentioned in the last podcast, there's those 10 to 15 people that you do care about, that you do want to check in with, stay current on. And the person that unfollowed me was one of those people. I was like, damn it, you were one of the good ones. No, why? So I don't know if, they unfollowed because they saw the title of my podcast. They for sure didn't watch it. But I was like, oh, that sucks. And what a coincidence, right? That happened right after, I talked about that. But I saw another post from a girl that I follow, not related, but we went to elementary school, middle school, and high school together. Don't worry, we're still mutuals. But she posted a picture, like a sorority picture, and in her caption, I messed stuff up a lot, okay? I'll be honest. Like, I still don't know if it's quote and quote, quote unquote, quote end quote, that saying. So I suck. Let me preface what I'm about to say by saying I suck, okay? This girl posted a sorority picture, and it was some caption, but she was like, something and something go hand and hand. Yeah, it sounds like the real one, but that's one of those ones where it's like logically. Did you not think about what the fuck that means? This thing goes hand and hand. What? That's a clap. She said these two things clap because she was like, they go hand and hand. And yeah, and a hand clap. Or they pick stuff up. This is what she meant. Hand in hand. Okay. I think that just confirmed it. This is definitely one of the bad podcast episodes. I saw this thing, I don't know where, but it reminded me that people do this. Maybe it was on Instagram, because apparently everything's on Instagram nowadays except me. I mean, I am on Instagram, but I don't really use the app too often because it makes me sad. And so I think I saw this on my Explore page. I saw someone with their legs up, in the passenger seat. Let me set up the story. Are you familiar with a car? An automobile? Okay, so let's say you are. I don't know how you answered, but I'll just benefit of the doubt, assume the best. Like I said, don't hold grudges, But I remember everything, so we talked about hand in hand. Sorry. This is terrible. So a passenger in a car, someone's in the passenger seat, they put their legs up on the dashboard. That makes me so anxious because if they get in a car crash, when you get in a car crash, there's a chance there could be damage. You get in a car crash and your legs are up on the dashboard, you're like guaranteed damage. Like your legs are 100% fucked, you know? And so I wonder, why do that? Why have your legs perched up there, you know? So yeah, that's something I've been thinking about a lot. Again, because I saw it on social media. I guess what I'm asking you, that's weird, right? Like I'm not weird for thinking that's weird. Like they're in the wrong, right? I'm right, right? Tell me I'm right. I need that validation. Anyways, my friend Alec is the best. He texted me and he was like, I'm listening to your podcast and there's so many times, I'm glad there's not live commenting because there's so many things I could say in response to you that, I would like to comment on real time. And if there was live comments, I'd be spamming that. And then I know he went back and listened to episode 3 and then he did like live comments in the comment section. I just want to say, right on finding a fix, Alec. Also, I love that. If I say something and you want to comment like to that thing, I would love it. If you on an episode posted like 3 to 6 comments because you had like something to say to something I said, I would love that. Don't feel shameful. That's awesome. That's how we build this community. I am so proud of this community. So, yeah, if you do that, that's super dope. And I am a big advocate, a big proponent. So if you leave a bunch of comments, that's awesome. And then reply to other people's comments. Be like, yeah, Gauruv did say that stupid thing. I agree with you. It is pretty fucking stupid. By the way, we're at an all-time high on the F words this episode. I have noticed in my other episodes, I only let 1 or maybe 2, but usually just 1 slip out. This episode, I think I'm at 5 so far. So, yikes. I guess this is interesting. I guess it goes along with the, theme of chaos. I can give you a little insight, a little window, let you look in there. I don't know where there is, how chaotic this week has been. I was on the phone with someone, working through a homework Thursday night, Friday morning. We were up till, 4 a.m. working, and then she went to sleep and I kept working for 3 more hours and then she woke up, finished it and then had trouble turning it in. So she emailed a TA and then was freaking out all day because submission times and the lack of, understanding from professors can freak you out. You work on this thing all week and then you get a 0 on it because of technology. Whoa. Okay. So, the thing is, I'm this way I am right now. I'm never this way with anyone but myself. This is what goes on in my head when I'm thinking, when I'm trying to go to bed or I'm showering. This is that voice I hear. This one. Because we're getting more in tune with, the conscious working through this thing, So this is the side of my brain I don't let people see because it's too much and I hate it. That's why, I don't like myself because it's this asshole is just talking to me 24/7. It's unbelievable. Anyways, I was up with this person till 4 a.m. and I went downstairs to get a snack because I worked up an appetite. And I got a piece of bread with Nutella on it and a small cup of eggnog. And then I consumed that. And the reason I bring this up is because I ate a piece of bread with Nutella on it. I didn't eat a piece of toast with Nutella. Like, that's normal. I just had a piece of bread with Nutella. And to me, that showed me, oh, I'm like at an all-time low. Because I didn't even warm it up. I just ate a piece of bread. Like a piece of bread, you hold it up and it flops over. You know, you hold it up, it flops over. Toast, there's some structural integrity to it. I also, what did I just say? Structural. There's some structural integrity to toast. Bread is sad, do you know? Toast has a 401k, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just ate a piece of bread with Nutella on it. And it was tasty, but I felt bad, you know? And I was thinking like, that's weird to call something Nutella bread, because the bread's not made of Nutella. You just put Nutella on bread. But why do we then call it Nutella toast? Like using the same logic as avocado toast. Why do we call it Nutella toast? Because it sounds weird to say Nutella bread. You get what I'm saying? Like we would never say, and then that's the other weird thing. Jam toast doesn't sound right either. Why don't we say that? And what sounds even more wrong is jam bread. Oh, yuck. What the? You know? Who the? And so I'm just like, these naming conventions are blasphemy. We say buttered toast, but we won't say butter toast. No, I think people say butter toast. Oh my God. But yeah, I feel like Nutella bread gives the wrong idea, but Nutella toast is socially acceptable and the mark of a good person. And I think as a society, we need to work on that. Anyways, what's another thing? Oh, I'm reading off my list, because I keep a list now. These are all I write down just random thoughts, I guess, I have during the week. And I think of random jokes during the week. That's a whole nother thing. Those are good. Those are actually like really good. These are the weird thoughts I have every week. This is just plain shit. It's like, oh man. I'm Facebook friends with people, and the way in which those people come into my life is through various forms. But one of the ways is, when you work with someone in school. And so I have done multiple group projects as a student at UC Davis and all schools, but for the sake of the story, for the scope of this story, we'll talk about a UC Davis project. When I was a freshman, I took a class called CMN 3Y. It was a communications course, and it was a hybrid. That's what the Y is for. If you're asking why, that's why. See what I did there? And I took this course, and we had to do a group project at the very end. And it's on, by the way, it's on YouTube under like my student account, but it's public. So if you probably type in, I don't know what you can type in, but if you find that other channel of mine, if you probably search Gauruv Virk and then you sort by channels and you find the green icon with 2 videos, you can find this video that I'm talking about, and it's terrible. But I worked with 3 other guys on this group project, and they were all super dope. And one of them, this was when I was a freshman, one of them was a senior, and this was like his spring quarter. This was the last course he needed to take, and then he graduated. And naturally, through the nature of these things, we became Facebook friends. And I was just on Facebook earlier this week, and this thing popped up, this post, and it was a real estate post. And I was like, oh, this is a pesky ad, Oh, another ad, I'll just swipe past it. But it didn't have the thing at the top where it was like, oh, sponsored post or whatever, Facebook's thing does. And I noticed, this is just this is a friend's post. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, this is that guy. This is the guy I did the group project with. I'm not going to say his name. I don't want to dox him, but I saw his face and it took me a second to realize, oh my God, this is him. What, 3 or 4 years later? Holy shit. And I don't remember his major when we were working together, but he's just fully a real estate guy. And it got me thinking, like, well, I could never buy a house from him. It doesn't feel right. It's the same thing. Okay, let me try to equate this to something. People from my high school have become writers. Like, that's their profession, and they post stuff, in public places and forums. Like, I've seen some people post sports stuff, some people post other stuff. It's not important, the categories. But I see these posts, and I'm like, no way. Like, growing up, you always read these online posts, and you're like, oh, a professional, wrote this, and it's gone through, the works. It's gone through, so much. And it's this perfect piece of content. But I see these people from my high school, like, making these posts, and I'm like, oh my God, I read it, and I'm like, this is just their voice. This isn't professional at all. And it's one of those things that keeps breaking the veil, or this, like, illusion that adults have it together. Adults don't know what the fuck they're doing. And this is another one of those things that's, like, broken that for me. That I'm like, oh my God, these posts are just shitty high school papers written by people I know. The only difference is now they have a college degree. But they're the same shitty fucking papers. So yeah, I really like that guy. But I'd be like, dude, I acted like your father in a video 3 years ago. I can't buy a house from you. Oh. So yeah. Tough stuff. Let me tell you something funny. Oh, I had this thought earlier. This is kind of a joke, but it's not. Like, it's a shitty joke, but I'll tell you to it. I'll tell it to you. I thought about it, and I don't know what made me think of this, but I know for sure in the future, there's going to be some stupid, like my kid probably, if someone gets tricked by me and we end up going that far. Here's my joke or observation. I said there's probably going to be some stupid textbook chapter in the future titled 2020, the year no one saw coming. Because 2020 vision. That's going to be in a history textbook for sure. Isn't that so sad? Ugh. My mom gave me a laundry basket, and she's like, can you take this upstairs? I was like, absolutely. And she was like, be careful, don't trip and fall. And I thought that was hilarious because it's the combo that she warned me about. She's like, don't trip and fall. Implying that, it's okay if you do one of them. But don't trip and fall. Also, if you trip without falling, yeah, that's still technically a trip. Because tripping and falling are two completely different things. You can trip, you ever get tripped up, you like trip on a curb, but then you like catch yourself. So that's a trip. And then falling is like when it's the follow through. Literally falling through. And this is crazy that I'm just someone's listening to this. Isn't it fucking nuts? Okay, anyways. Comment down below if that's fucking nuts. Anyway, sorry. But I laughed. She was like, what's so funny? And I was like, oh, I think the phrase trip and fall is funny because it's like, you're kind of telling me like, oh, it's okay if you trip. Just don't don't fall too, have some class. She's like, yeah, just, can you take this upstairs now? I was like, uh-huh. Sorry. Like I mentioned, I'm on the UC Davis's, new student social media team. Stream. We're always current. And I'm like a robot. Like, you could probably program these phrases into some kind of AI and replace me. This is who we are. Stream. We're always current. All that. Anyways. But in our meeting, they gave us, we did an AMA, we did Day in the Life on Instagram last quarter. Super cool to be part of. So they showed us all the stats from that. And they were like, oh my God, you guys will not believe how many DMs we get. Like how many DMs the Chancellor gets with just weird questions. Like, one question they told us the Chancellor gets sometimes is, how can I be your best friend? And it's like, that's not my reaction. That's their reaction. They're like, I think it's a very valid question. How do you become Chancellor's best friend? Do we have a shot? Does the lay person, the common folk, is there a way to get an in with Papa May? But then they talked about how a lot of moms are in his DMs and just asking questions about their kid. And no one said it in the meeting, so I took it upon myself to say. I literally told, how many people was it? I think we're in a meeting of I think 12 of us. So I said to 11 other people that I work with, this is my job. I said, that's such a power move. Can you believe that? How much of a power move is it for Chancellor May to be able to, go to a student and be like, hey, your mom's in my DMs? Hey, Timmy, I got your mom. She's straight up in my DMs. She's trying to get a piece of it. That's wild. I had to point it out because no one else was going to say it. So I was like, you guys realize how crazy this is? Another thing we talked about was, revamping the UC Davis YouTube page. And we talked about, I brought forward this idea about, I'm not going to say I brought forward. I don't want to take credit. We started talking about playlist on YouTube. And I said, I think playlists would be good. I think there's two, routes, two roads, two methods we can, pick from. One is kind of like treating the playlist like a book, You start at chapter 1, you go through it, go chronologically, and it makes sense. You have a playlist, be that, where it reads as a story. Another option for a playlist on YouTube is you can do what my friend Alex Fisher-Wagner does. I did, tell them, I was like, yeah, we can do what Alex does, where he has some playlists that are kind of like a mosh pit of things. Alex was so generous to put together a playlist on his YouTube channel, Craving to Create, of just UC Davis student-created content. Some of my videos are in that playlist. And so anyone that, wants to learn more about Davis from a student perspective can go to that playlist, and he, put other creators on, and it's dope to see that. So it's like, or we can do the book idea, chronological, it's like a thing, or we can do, this mosh pit of videos that fall under a category. Whatever that category is, we'll title it that. And they're like, oh my God, that's such a good idea. Like, we should do that. And I was like, yeah, book or buffet, book, you read it through. Buffet, you go, what do I want here? I kind of get what the whole vibe is because of the playlist title, but what do I want from here? And they pick. And then I was like, another idea you could do, I just thought of it at that moment. I was like, you could use this as a way to organize alumni achievements. So, if an alumna, I don't know what it is, does something cool and it's a video on YouTube, put it in the playlist. And then you can be like, look how cool our alumni are. And, we were talking about, that's a dope idea. But then they were like, but do we have to Hassan Minhaj is a alumni of UC Davis, and so he had his show Patriot Act, rest in peace. It got canceled on Netflix, but super dope show. I'm running out of time, by the way, so I know that. And she was like, but putting it in our playlist, will we have to ask him for permission? I was like, But then I got thinking, I was like, no, I don't think there's any legal implications, because a playlist is just an organizational thing. It's not like we're taking credit. It's not like we're making money off that. We're just saying, putting it on a shelf. We're not selling it. It's just there on display. And then another person in the meeting was like, oh yeah, it's kind of like a Spotify playlist, right? Like, it's just for organizing your music. And I was like, that's such a good idea. And then I actually said this. I was like, that's such a good point, because it's not like, you have songs on your playlist and then Taylor Swift's going to come and beat your ass because you put her song on your playlist. And I thought that was really funny. I don't know why. Housekeeping. Oh no, it's such an important part of the podcast, but I think we're going to have to skip it today. I talked so much. I don't know if this was good. Everything is chaos. I love that. With my entire heart. And, thank you so much for your comments. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for everything. I love you. No, I don't. I don't know anything about you, but I love the idea that people care about me. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.